there is no balance to be the best at anything. And if you think there is, well, you probably won't be the best at it. A few days ago, I made a video talking about balance in powerlifting, or just pretty much why you have to become obsessed. And I feel like I also ran down a little bit of a wrong path on that video. So I really want to clarify today on what I mean by being obsessed and not being balanced. If you want to become the best, if you want to become strong, you want to do this, you want to do that. Because in that last video, I really did make it seem like you have to do more than you want to do, right? And as we've seen by a lot of power lifters, if you follow older generations of lifters, such as George Lehman and Pete Rubish, my main two examples, they say they look back at their powerlifting and they feel like it was really just a waste of their time because newer lifters will come and every record will be broken eventually. And so when you look at these guys and you hear like, Pete Rubish saying like the upcoming new generation lifters really don't even know about me. Think about how he feels about that when like he used to walk into a gym and everybody knew that that was Pete Rubish, but now he could walk into a USAPL powerlifting meet and there's a good chance that a lot of people won't know who he is, right? So it's important to keep in mind that you're not becoming great, you're not becoming the best because you want to be known, because you want to prove this person wrong, because you want to do this or that or whatever. But you're becoming the best because that's what you want to do. That's your lifestyle. That's like who you shape yourself around. That's the person that you want to be. But you're not doing it because, oh, I'm going to show them. I'm working out every day because of vengeance, because of revenge, And because eventually you're just going to run out. What happens when there's no more revenge? What happens when, that girlfriend that broke up with you 5 years ago just like is married and you don't even know what she looks like anymore, right? So like, what happens when you keep pulling from this? And me myself, I've went through a lot of things like this. I transferred schools. There was a big thing like I'm gonna show these kids. And eventually, it was like 2 years in. I'm like, what do these kids even do to me? You know what I'm saying? Like I just transferred schools because it was best for me. These kids didn't do anything to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just getting stronger, but I was just trying to find a reason. It needs to be within yourself, right? And now to get on to the balance part, I still don't believe there's a balance. Period. There's no balance. You cannot go party and then turn around and expect to be the best powerlifter. It's just not it, bro. It's literally not even it. You could see Russell on Instagram, his lifts took a little bit of a hit because he was working on business, right? So he was building his gym, right? It ended up closing down. Tough time for him, whatever. He had a brand, GBT, but he was not at his peak strength that time because he literally, because that's how much it requires, right? Like the person that he lost to the Great Britain, I think he was from Great Britain, right? That dude was working while he was doing that business, and that's just real. But now it's important to look and say, okay, so I'm going to dedicate everything to be the best, but at what point's too far and what point is going to stop me from becoming the best? Now, I've read the comments on the last video and I've read some very good points. Someone saying when they went on vacation, they couldn't sleep for a few nights because they were so worried about missing meals, missing lifts, and the rest of it that they ended up just having a terrible time. And when they came back, they were in even worse condition than if they would have just went and had a good time, right? So it's important to note, like, you can't just dedicate your whole entire life to it. What needs to come first is your job, your school, your career, because powerlifting just probably won't pay the bills. Right? Like, name how many people powerlifting pays the bills for. It's probably just Larry Wheels. Maybe, oh, sorry, Greg Doucette. But I mean, he makes YouTube videos. That's not even him just lifting, right? I mean, that it's really small. It's really small amount of people actually get like really successful off of just lifting, right? Now even Larry Wheels, right? He had to come up with his own clothing brand, his elbow wraps, everything else. He ended up making money from his videos. He didn't make anything really from powerlifting, but the powerlifting did it for the videos. So it's important to note that if you become the strongest man of all time, you total 2606, you have no Instagram, no YouTube, no TikTok, nowhere for people to find you, you probably will make less than $10,000 off of that. Literally less than $10,000. And the amount of steroids, everything, like belts, just singlets, everything should cost you more than $10,000 for you to get there. So you can literally become the strongest man ever and have it pay you nothing. So it's important to note that you need to focus on your personal life first. And especially like Pete Rubish said, is he watched so many people just like walk away. Or George Lehman too. He said he never furthered his relationships, and all through his 20s, it was just how can I get bigger, stronger, and whatever. And he never cherished the time, and then boom, the time was gone, right? So it's important to know you need to do what comes first. You need to do your job. You can't be, if you get fired from your job, say goodbye to powerlifting, because what's paying the bills for you to go to the gym, right? If you can't go to school anymore, then you need to go get a job. And if you can't find a job because you didn't graduate from school because your grades were terrible because you were so busy at the gym all the time, and now you can't find a good job, well, say goodbye to the gym too, because you're going to have to go do manual labor, which is just going to kill your lifts, right? So you need to focus on the needs first. You need relationships too. If you have no support, you have no motivation, you have nobody like in your corner at all, like you don't need many people. Bro, the most popular person is never going to be the strongest, and the most popular person is never going to be the best. You don't need many people at all. That's not what I'm saying. But if you don't have at least a few, just a couple people, literally in your corner, just supporting you to get better, well, you're gonna run out of steam eventually. Eventually, you're just gonna be like, what's the point of this? You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, nobody's happy for me. I'm just like hitting a lift and it's like, great. You know what I'm saying? So you need to further all aspects of your life if you're trying to become the best in powerlifting. Powerlifting shouldn't just become like, okay, this is literally my life. Like, I'm gonna eat, sleep, drink, and dream powerlifting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. You can't be at work, at school, not paying attention in class, not paying attention on the job, getting fired from your job because you're sitting behind the counter watching Sam Sulek videos. You know what I'm saying? Because you're sitting behind the video watching a video like what I'm making right now. You can't let that be the reason that your personal life goes backwards. So you need to take care of those needs first. That's number one. The relationships is number two, right? So you need this to live, to thrive, whatever, to get to the point of making a new relationship. You need to have friends. You need to have family. You need to stay in touch, right? It doesn't have to be a ton of people, but it needs to be a couple people. That's it. Simple. That's a need. Once you get done with those needs, then you can manage your stored energy. And if you're really that passionate about it, you will put all your stored energy into powerlifting. You'll put it all into getting stronger, all into getting bigger. Bodybuilders, man, you're going to put it all into watching videos on how you can eat better, how you can just sleep better, how you can just push every single aspect further. But if you can't get those two things, you don't have support, you don't have your need, you can't pay for things, then the rest of this just isn't possible, right? And so if you're in that position right now where you're like high school student, let's just say, get those grades up. Get your grades good so you could go to a good school that gives you a good scholarship. Your parents can save money, you can save money, whatever. Get those grades up. You could do that. You could go to school, do that, and then you could lift like crazy. You could just be an athlete and just a great student. You see what I'm saying? And then when you're done with that, you need to make yourself known. If you really want to be that great in powerlifting, you're going to put that much time into it. At some point, you need to get that ROI, right? And you can't control the output out of anything. You can only control the input. But if you're going to put so much input into something, do the one little thing like posting your videos online, or maybe just making a post on YouTube once a week, and you do that throughout the years, well, in 5 years you may have one hell of a following. So that's just my personal feeling on what it's like to be having balance with powerlifting. I don't believe in balance at all. Boom, simple. That answers that question. But you need to have the two things that come first: relationships and just personal life, right? You need those two before you can work on the rest. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. I really wanted to clear some things up from the last one. I'm going to get way more consistent now too, posting probably every day again. So like, comment, subscribe, and Blake went signing out. Peace.